Welcome to the 47th episode of the MC Knitting Adventures podcast. My name's Colleen.
And my name is May. Welcome to returning viewers, and for those of you watching us the first time, we're glad you could be here. This is the last adventure that our Michigan adventures. It's been a great trip. Feel so fortunate that we're able to take this trip before everything in the world has happened. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to travel to the States right now as the borders are being closed. There's a whole thing going on. We're hoping by doing this podcast that, it takes you away from reality for a little bit.
Right, exactly.
Because you're probably like us, where you watch the news and there's so many cases and there's new cases.
Absolutely.
And in Italy it's terrible, in Spain it's terrible, in the States it's terrible. Like, there's no good news at this point. So if you're at home, which you probably are staying at home, which we're supposed to, then maybe this will take you away from that reality for a little bit. So
I think that's great.
Before we begin, Colleen will talk about what we're wearing.
So we've mentioned on our last episode that we were going to be going to Montreal, to Knit City, Montreal, and it had to be canceled because of what's going on. So I had decided, 2 or 3 months ago, that I was going to knit this sweater. This is what I'm wearing. And it is the Turtle Dove, and that's by Melissa Clulow of Espace Tricot. Love this sweater. It's a brilliant pattern. It is free, by the way. And Espace Tricot has a lot of free patterns. So if you go onto their Ravelry site and take a look at that, you'll see all of them. They're really good. So the yarn that I used is Concept by Katia Cotton Merino. And it is lovely. It's warm, but it's light. And the pattern is a really neat construction. You can make it with the kind of turtleneck I got it with. You can shorten it a little bit. There's 2 different ways you can do the hemline of it. I've done the split hemline, but there's so many different things you can do. And I'm really happy with it. And
I'd like to get a picture of the split hemline. Maybe after this we can take a photograph, because
Perfect.
It looks really nice.
Oh, thank
you.
Yeah.
You did a great job. It was wonderful. It's very soft.
It is nice and soft.
The color's brilliant, and it's
Thank
not
you.
purple. Cashmere in this? Just checking.
No cashmere.
No.
No, not at all. Let me see what we've got. We have 70% cotton, 30% virgin wool.
Oh,
Yep, no cotton at all.
there you go.
So that's what I'm wearing. Now, May is wearing a cowl, and that is the Bombini cowl.
It's the first time I've wore it, by the way.
Exactly. Well, it's a brand new finished object, so I was going to put in finished objects, but May was asking me what she could wear, and so we decided that she could wear it. So this is by Kay F Jones of the Bakery Bears. The yarn is Heritage Silk by Cascade.
Easy pattern, free pattern.
Not a free pattern, but a nice pattern. It's an easy pattern, and I like the way that it's got that V and the different colors. And what I really like is I was doing another pattern by Kay F Jones, which is the Yuletide socks, and I bought those 2 colors. So this is the sock that I made. That's the Yuletide sock.
Well, I could wear those socks with this and be a match.
They're my size. You cannot wear them.
Oh, these are knit to fit.
These are knit to fit socks. So is this knit to fit. So what I decided to do was, because obviously I'd use more of the light blue than the denim-y kind of blue, I thought, okay, I've got enough yarn left. I'm going to switch it up. And so for May, I did the light blue here and the dark blue there. And I have lots left. In fact, of that dark blue, I have enough that I could make another one of these, but have this part be the dark blue.
Oh.
It is brilliant pattern.
For that.
I love the construction of it. I love the sock pattern as well. We'll talk about socks a little later, because I have discovered something which will explain that, and that may help a few of you out. But that Bombini cowl looks really good on you.
I actually texted my friend Nicole, who said she was at home and she's never knit socks, and she's knitting socks.
Okay.
So, good luck, Nicole, with that.
All right. And Nicole, you can give us a text or give us a shout out, and we'll see if we can help you if you need help with that. So that's what we're wearing. And next we're going to talk about finished objects. My objects today, for the most part, are cowls. This is actually a finished object. We've talked about that one. But this is another one. So I'm going to let you hold it up. So this cowl was for May. And it is the Candygram cowl by Tanis Lavallee of Tanis Fiber Arts.
A lot of stretch in this.
There's a lot of stretch in it because it's ribbed. Now, if you will flip half of it the other way out.
Oh, nice.
Exactly. So this pattern I'm not good. It is a free pattern, by the way. I wanted to let you know it's a free pattern. It's just the way that you do the stitches, and there's a slip stitch, and you end up with two different looks. So you can either flip it all the way out and just have one look, or you can flip it halfway out like you're doing right now, and then you have two.
Nice. I like that. That'll be great on
And that yarn, the colors are brilliant. And that color is, that yarn for me is Patton's Astra.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm really happy with that.
My cowl bin is getting bigger and bigger and
We
bigger.
gotta get to a bigger
this
bin.
cowl. That's one solution.
That's my
Bigger
solution.
bin.
Get a bigger bin. That's what works in my yarn stash. I'm just saying, oh, it's not fitting. Get a bigger bin. Or get another bin. Or maybe I should get a see-through bin.
It's not, let's cut down on my stash. No.
Well, I've been working hard.
Yeah, yes,
I really
you have.
have.
You have.
And I've been using little bits up. I've been doing a good job. All right, so this next cowl, what's the matter?
I just think you've been doing a good job. I'm glad you appreciate yourself. You gotta
Yes.
give yourself praise. What is it my mom says? So, she's old school. Self-praise gives no honor or something. I don't know what the saying is. But anyway, it's kind of cute coming from you because you
Okay.
never do that.
I don't do that at all. But here we go. So my second finished object is actually for me, and it is the Harrison cowl, and that is by Hayley Scharping, and I use two yarns. I use Starlet, which is the white, and then May had for Christmas purchased this Deborah Norville Everyday. So they're both acrylic. You found some stuff, but look.
So when you say
cowl.
acrylic like that, does that mean like it's not expensive or?
Acrylic is not as expensive, but acrylic can be lovely to work with. Like if you feel that, it's really, really soft.
Yeah, that's nice.
Exactly.
You know.
So I know not everybody can afford high-end yarn, and so I don't buy high-end yarn all the time. And so what happens is I'm able to do this kind of thing. So when you
That's
bought me
nice.
the purple, which,
Right.
you know, I love purple, then I thought, okay, I've got some other acrylic yarn, I'll put it together. So
It
you
is
just
very
can't
soft.
really mix it.
That's
So
gonna be a nice color on you.
exactly.
It's purple.
It
Just
is
say-
purple. I have black coats and it's going to go
It'll
very
go great.
nicely. So that's my second one. The third one is another cowl for May, and I'll let you hold that up.
Oh, nice.
And
Oh, I
this
like
is
this. This is
called the Dainty Dots cowl.
Now, is this acrylic? I'm learning so many things about
This is
different kinds
not
of yarns.
acrylic.
It doesn't feel the same as this.
No, so this
not
is
bad.
by Molly Klein Designs.
Lovely.
And this yarn is called String Theory Hand-Dyed Yarn Caper Sock. And there's the ball band. And you get 80% wool, 10% cashmere. A little cashmere goes
I
a long
thought
way.
there might have been
and
cashmere in
10% nylon.
Nice.
So
It's got little colors in it, like a gradient.
it
kind of
is,
thing.
it's tonal is what
Tonal,
that's
yeah,
the
okay,
magic word
yeah.
that they use. And that is going to be nice. So now, to be honest with you, I haven't blocked this because I didn't know if you wanted it super open. So I wanted you to try it on first
Right.
to tell me what you want. And if
And I
you
will
want
do
it to
that
be a
after
little
this.
wider, then I can do that.
Looks
and do
great.
that for you.
Thank you again.
Okay.
Big bin. Just saying.
Big bin. And my last, nope, this is not my last. My last cowl is the Potpourri cowl, and that's by Rose Becks. So when I made May cowl for Christmas, there was extra yarn. And so this is the Concept by Katia Cashmere 30.
This is lovely.
So it has 30% cashmere in it, and I also haven't blocked those. So the cowls I don't block the same way as I do shawls. So I want to give that a try on, see how it works, and then I'll know how much I need to
Love the
open it
different
up.
stitches you've been using. Like, look at that.
That pattern is brilliant, and I liked about the pattern is that there's ways to play with it. Meaning there's a chart, and you can say, well, I want an extra set of that, and that's what I did. So it would actually be a little bit shorter. This pattern would say it would be a little bit shorter, but I wanted to use up as much of the yarn as I could.
Very nice.
Exactly. So we're 2 cowls for you, 2 cowls for me. And guess what? We have one more thing for May. And that is a pair of shorty socks. So I'm going to let you
Oh,
hold
nice.
those up. So these are vanilla socks. And I was going through my stash because we can't go out to the yarn store. So I thought I'm going to pretend that my stash is a yarn store, and I'm going to go down and see what I could find. And I found these 2 yarns. So one is the Cascade sock yarn, and the other one is called Cascade Heritage Paints. Can't fold the ball bound, but there we go. And I thought, okay, I think I could make 2 pairs of socks. So I made May a shorty pair, And you like them.
I like them. They're great. They're comfortable
Because
on.
you
They're great.
tend to wear shorty socks.
These will go great with my desert boots.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, I love desert boots.
But she never wears them when it rains.
But I never wear them when it rains. And the one time it did rain, this is a funny story.
It is a funny story.
That I put garbage bags on them so I wouldn't get them wet. They're like, I've had these desert boots. If I could show you these desert boots, I've had them for what, 2 years, 3 years, maybe
a long time.
Maybe 4 years I've had these desert boots.
Absolutely.
And they look like they just came out of the box. And
That's right.
But I do wear them.
Yeah.
But I'm just very particular when I wear them. If I could show you them, I'll take a picture.
And I must admit.
I have them on now, actually.
Yes, you
Want
do.
me to show you them now?
Sure. Can you lift your foot up that way?
There you go. Can you see my desert boots?
Well,
Look at that. Brand new. They look brand new. I love them.
so I must admit that at the end of the day, we were both at school. At the end of the day, it was raining, and May said, okay, I got to put garbage bags on my shoes. And I thought, oh my goodness, there's all these teenagers. I don't think I can walk out with me.
I don't think you did.
I didn't. I said,
I don't
May,
care.
I'll meet you at the car.
But my desert boots look like
Your
they do.
desert boots are beautiful.
Yes, they are.
Exactly. So I think that's impressive. So those are my finished objects. And now, May?
Now, I don't have any, I can't put them here because they're too big. I am working on the doll's house. I'll take a picture. I'm kind of just got the wood cut out. I've kind of got it placed up. I'm kind of rethinking, like, the structure of it because I don't have a plan. I'm just kind of going with from a photograph that I took. So I'm trying to figure it out, but I'll put a picture up of where stage I'm at it with that dollhouse. So I've been doing that, and also being at home, I've been playing the guitar and trying to learn O Canada. I'm not quite there yet, but I'll give you a little preview. Maybe I'll do a little video after this. You can
that'll be fantastic.
You can maybe tape me.
Yeah.
And I'll put a little video as to where I'm at with the guitar, but just know that I'm still practicing.
She's doing a great
in
job.
the practice. Poor Colleen is having to listen to this, doing
So
this
what
over and
she
over again.
can do is not use the amp, because she's using an electric guitar, not use the amp, and then it's beautiful. I can sit in it, it's lovely. And then she says,
I need to
Colleen,
put the amp
I
on.
need to crank it up. And I go, okay, I'm going downstairs. So I just go down into the basement and I can either sew or organize my stash or do whatever I want down in the
And
basement.
you know what? That's something that works. You know,
Exactly.
and I know people out there, and I know Ellen in Scotland. Hi, Ellen, if you're watching us. And it's an adjustment period when you're at home with your significant other, because, but we've had to work out ways, like you going in the basement and me going here. You have to kind of create and have a conversation about space and that type of thing, and with families, I think, at this time.
Right, absolutely.
Because we're all human beings, and you do like your own space a little bit.
Yep.
And I feel for those people that have children at home, and it's got to be tough. But, there are ways, just communication is the key.
Absolutely.
So you just go to the basement. Go to the basement. We have signals. We'll start having signals.
Mostly I say, do you need to crank it up? And she says, yep. Down I go.
And then we've come into a new routine. Like you've probably done that at home too. There's a new normal that we've created. Like we get up, we have our tea, we watch what's new on. We get the update on the virus.
Exactly.
We've put in some exercise there. We've tried to do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of our new normal. And then in the afternoon we have a tea time, and Colleen's been baking. She made some banana bread. So then we have a tea time in the afternoon. Like I've gained a few pounds. I just have to say, sitting at home. We've watched more TV than we've ever watched.
That's true. But the weather is getting better.
Oh, yes.
And so we're going to be out walking a little bit more.
As long as we isolate ourselves
Yeah,
from...
we found a place that's close to where we live that it's kind of off the beaten track and people don't walk there.
Yeah.
So we were good.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do.
Just a new normal. So
Exactly.
it's different days. So anyway, what's next, Colleen?
There you go. So those are our finished objects, and next we're going to talk about works in progress. My first work in progress is a pair of socks. So as I mentioned, if you can hold those up for us, I used some Cascade Heritage sock and Cascade Heritage paint and made those for May. Now it worked out really well to do hers first because then I could try them on. So that is a 64 stitch sock, and I tried them on, and it had nothing to do with the length. It was the fact that it was too wide around. And it just was this light bulb moment. I'm thinking, maybe if it's a vanilla sock, 64 stitch doesn't work for me. So I hunted around for some pattern, and I looked at the vanilla socks by Susan. I'm just going to say Susan S. I'll put it in the show notes. And because I thought, okay, well, maybe a 64 stitch sock isn't going to work. And also with the 64 stitch sock, May's and micro stripes kind of broke a little bit. I was trying to avoid that. So this has a square heel, which I may have had to find, and it's a 56 stitch sock.
2 at a time?
2 at a time. Vanilla sock. And it fits like a dream. So I have spent most of my life buying socks at the store and having socks be too big. So that's what I know. So when I was first making socks for myself, and I went, okay, if it's like that, the length was a bit better. And then when I tried yours on, I thought, oh my goodness. So this is really nice, and I really like it. Didn't break the stripe, partly because I think of the heel that I used. I think it's called a square heel. And partly because of the different count of stitches, I believe. But I'm really happy with these. And you can see.
So have you had them on? Have you had it on for a test?
I have. I've got enough left that I'm going to be able to finish because I'm going to do a brown toe.
And this fits snug?
It fits okay. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. So I was going to start with 56 stitches at the top. And I thought, no, my calf's too big for that. So then I thought, well, I'll start with 64 stitches at the cuff. And then it was too big. So what I did was I did a 60 stitch cuff, and then just before I started my first round, I did of the brown, and I decreased by 4 stitches. And it seems to have worked. So I'm going to remember that because it's fitting well and I'm liking how they're doing.
Great.
So that is good. And what I'm liking is I'm using up the rest of the yarn. It's brilliant. So we'll make a good team that way. So that's the first thing. My second thing is a shawl. So I had purchased 2 skeins of this string theory. And so your cowl, that Dainty dot cowl is out of it. And if you'll help me hold this up.
Is there a way?
I think this is the way.
This is lovely.
Oh my goodness.
I love these stitches.
I know.
And it's light.
It's nice and light. There is that 10% cashmere in there.
Right.
Because we're both cashmere worthy. So that's that. Let me just show you what the pattern is. It's called Soft Sunday.
There's a blue theme going on today.
There is. And it's by Suvi Simola. And it is a 1 skein shawl, but I thought if I want to make it a little bit bigger, I could add some more because I still have some left of yours.
Right.
But I think it might be big enough. So what I may be able to do is do what's left and do this kind of thing for me using this lovely tonal yarn.
I like this.
I know.
Yeah.
I think it might be nice. So I'm really happy with that, and I'll keep working on it. I think because it is kind of an oceany color and because it's so open, I think it'll be nice to have, you know, when you're working in the summer and there's air conditioning and it gets a little cool, it's nice to have that around your neck.
Or if we get it walking, it would be great.
It would be great as well. Great idea. All right, my next 2 works in progress are sweaters. So what I have found is that having a little bit more time to knit is allowing me to get in. So I went into my stash and I am going to find, I had a bin that had sweater quantities, and I thought if I don't get these sweaters done now, I'm not going to have nice sweaters for spring, summer. And so I made some gauge swatches and away I went. And I'm liking it. Like, I'm liking getting them done. I'm liking using up stash. It makes me happy. And I have to tell you, this is called the Ankers, I think, or Anker's Summer Shirt by PetiteKnit. You have to make this. It's not a free pattern, but it is a brilliant pattern. And I'm going to make another one. I know
it's
for
a really
sure.
nice style of a top.
So what I find sometimes is if there, I like in the winter, there's a detail of a turtleneck. I really like that. But in the summer, it's a t-shirt and, you know. So you want to have a little bit of detail. So this, and I'm hoping you can see it. You can see the detail. So I've got one of the sleeves done. And I wanted to get the sleeves done, and then I'm going to just make the body as long as I can. This is this neat ribbing and increasing, and it is so cushy and lovely.
Now, when you say you have to make one of these, is it because the pattern that you liked, or was it because you like the style? Or?
I really like the style, and I've looked on Ravelry, and that's the nice thing about Ravelry. So this is the Ella Ray Denim DK. That's what that is. And it's really, really nice. I saw this at the Wool and Silk Company in Sjøgren, and they had a pattern that was a lighter blue, but I really like the dark blue, and I like the pattern. But
love it.
I've got some other DK yarn. I frogged a project. I was going to make this long vest and decided I don't need a long vest. So I have, it is a nice acrylic. We got it at Mary Maxim. I have enough. So I ripped it out, washed it, let it hang to dry. I put it in a towel first. And so now it's ready, and I've done my test swatch, and I'm going to make a beige one. It's a cream colored one because that's a little bit nicer for summer.
Nice.
So
that's on the go.
Yes. So I'm telling you now, there's a lot of patterns
That's beautiful.
that have this on the yoke, and so there's sweaters, like a cardigan. There's all different kinds of patterns, I guess. So check this one out. Really, really happy with it.
Now, you've had this on just to check for size, and it looks amazing.
I know.
This
I
whole
really like
style looks great.
I know.
So yeah,
I'm really happy
I'm with you
it.
on that. You should get
Perfect.
knitting that.
All right. Okay. My last one is another sweater, and as I started to knit it, May said, "What are you doing?" So it is the Early Bloomer by Heidi Kirrmaier. And I had purchased some yarn. It's called Bamboo Pop. And I purchased it to make a cardigan. I don't wear cardigans when I'm at home. Maybe if I'm going to do some work as a supply teacher at some point in time, but I don't usually do it. So I thought I'd like to use it and make myself a nice little sweater. So the contrast color was this lovely
This is lovely.
fuchsia.
It's not your usual colors, like
It
as you can
isn't.
see.
But once again, I've got some detail on the yoke. I've tried it on.
This will be great for the spring, like in the
I
summer.
think so.
Like it's
And
beautiful,
so this
soft.
is 50% cotton and 50% bamboo.
So soft, and
It is.
It's nice on. Like I say, it's not like
Yeah.
your usual colors,
Right.
but brighten
I'm
you up
really,
a
really
little bit.
happy.
I think it'll be great.
Exactly. So I'm really, really happy with
Yeah.
that.
Can't
Now
wait to go out to the park and take some photographs.
Oh,
of
that
all
would be
this.
great.
Yeah.
Now the funny thing is, when I did my swatch, don't ask me how many stitches I did. When I did my swatch, and I wish I'd kept it, but I ripped it out so I could knit with it. It ended up looking like little diamonds. And I said to you, May, what do you think of the yarn? And she said, how did you do that? So it must have just been the number of stitches, and just my tension was doing that. You can see that this isn't doing that.
But if you tried that again, you probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't be able to do it, but I'm really, really
Turned out
happy
nice.
with that. I'm really happy with the sweaters, and I'm liking top down because you can try them on.
Yeah.
And
It's nice to be able to make sweaters that you're going to wear, because a lot of times
Exactly.
people will make a sweater and they keep it in
Yeah.
the box. So it's
And
nice.
you and I, since we've retired, we don't go out and do a lot of shopping for clothes.
No.
Not too much. So I'm
Great.
thinking,
T-shirts,
Exactly.
track pants, and a T-shirt. I'm happy.
so what I'm liking is I am doing knitting, which I love. I'm using stash, which you love. And by doing that, I'm going to end up with the kind of spring-summer wardrobe of sweaters.
And you're creating a beautiful space in our home where we
Yes.
can actually breathe.
Yes.
We're not doing this. Trying to get on the other.
But once again, just need a bigger bin. That's all I'm saying. All right, so those are my works in progress, and next we're going to talk about our adventure.
Today's adventure took us to Brighton, Michigan, and also Rochester, Michigan.
Yes.
This is our last trip, as we've mentioned,
Yeah.
on our Michigan trip. It was a wonderful trip. We had a great time. But, at the end of a trip, you're anxious to get home.
Absolutely.
And in Brighton, Michigan, we didn't really stay there. It was more of a driving through.
Exactly.
And same with
Same with
Rochester.
Rochester.
We didn't
But
stay
they're
overnight.
Both lovely communities and different kind of communities.
Yeah. Now, Brighton is about an hour from Detroit and about an hour and a half from the Canadian border. So, you are getting a little anxious to get home. But it didn't stop us from going into the Unwind Yarn Shop.
No.
Which was lovely. And, Brighton is one of the most prosperous places in Detroit. And it was lovely. It kind of showed that. It was just a really nice little place. We went to, you can talk a little bit more about the yarn shop in Brighton. Do you want to do that now?
I can do that right
Okay.
now. So the yarn store, as May said, is called the Unwind Yarn Shop. beautiful bright windows. It was fantastic. They don't do online work, but they have 19 classes per week. Now, they're probably not doing that right now, but I would imagine you might be able to call and they could set you up with something. We spoke to Mary, who orders the yarn, and there was a class going on when we were there.
Right.
But they have lots of different kinds of yarn.
Bright store, lovely
and
colors.
Samples. Oh my goodness. And it's funny because we go to different yarn stores and then you see different kinds of yarns, and then you also see ones that are, oh, that's a Canadian yarn. So Sweet Georgia Yarns was there. So
it's funny that you say that because I walk in and I think it's just like the same as the last yarn store. They have a different feel for me.
Yes.
But the yarn all looks the same to me. It's just a different color.
Well, it's always a little different. So they had Regia and Cascade. They had some wool addicts. They had Kelborn woolens, BC Garn, Universal Yarn, which I have some that I bought here. They have Sweet Georgia, they have Malabrigo, they have Juniper Moon Farm, they have Barocco, they have Lang. Lots of different samples and lots of ideas and lots of bright color. It was really, really nice.
And we've talked about this before about going into a yarn store and just having that feeling. And it was a great feeling going into that. Both that yarn store, Brighton and Rochester, both had a great feeling about them. And they were bright. So, yeah, it was really, I'm glad we stopped on our way home. We always took the time to stop at a yarn store.
That's right. My favorite.
Okay, but population there in Brighton is only about 7,000, so it's not a big place, but a prosperous place. So,
exactly.
Yeah. And so now we'll talk about Rochester, which was, again, a stop off.
As we headed closer.
Because we're only about an hour from the Canadian border at Sarnia there.
Right.
Again, anxious to get home, but I'm so glad we stopped in Rochester. They hold a hometown parade. That was the biggest thing, because when we went in there, we saw everybody putting up these lights, because we were there, I don't know, September, October.
Middle of October, they were putting up Christmas lights. Yeah. And so we had that conversation with the people of the yarn store, and they were saying that they've held this parade there since 1951. Wow. And people come, she said, if you come back, you have to come back at Christmas. She says, the streets are filled, it's mobbed, it's packed. Because this parade, and they claim it's the one biggest parade in Michigan, the Santa Claus Parade in Michigan. Wow.
Yeah, so, but also they had a light show in 2006 that had over 500,000 lights. So all in this town, which is beautiful.
Yeah, that's really well done.
They put more money into the light thing, so now there's over 1 million lights that they have. So people come from all over at Christmas to see what's going on in Rochester, Michigan. And the yarn store, which is called
Skeins on Main.
Skeins on Main is right on the main hub, and it's beautiful Main Street. And you can see with the flowers they had, even at in the fall they had the fall colors, they had the fall flowers. They really take pride in that whole downtown hub. Yeah, it looked like. They have parks and trails, they have festivals, they have Earth Day, they have car shows, they have everything that a small town would have. They have about 12,000 population there. Yeah. Madonna was went to high school there, and she graduated from there. Wow. Same as Alice Cooper graduated from a high school there. Also, Ozzy Osbourne's drummer graduated from a high school there.
Oh my goodness.
So a lot of musicians, but not only that, they have hockey players that came from there. They have famous NASCAR players. They have baseball players that came from there. So a lot of celebrities in the sports world came from there too. So beautiful. I'm glad we stopped there. The yarn store, you can talk about a little bit about that, but it just, to me, it was walking in, it was beautiful, it was bright, and it went from one part of a street over to another part. It seemed long. It was long
and narrow, but
well
beautiful.
Organized.
It was well organized. So Lori's the owner, and Nicole was the one who served us, so she was really helpful. And you start by walking in, and you walk right into a space where there's a lovely big table, and there were some ladies getting ready to have a bit of a class. And then you walk a little further, and then there's another space with more yarn. They have one yarn that is 100% bamboo. Oh my goodness, the feel of that. It was amazing. And they have special samples. Now, we don't have a whole lot of pictures of that because some of the samples were designed by people that work at the store, and they have had people in the past take pictures and then basically steal their designs. So they said, just be mindful that you don't take those pictures. And you did a great job. You've got pictures of yarn, but you don't have the pictures of some of the samples. They were brilliant, by the way.
Yeah.
And then as you go further to the back, they actually had artwork. So I don't know, because I didn't get far, that obviously I got stuck in the yarn, but I know you went back to take pictures of the, now were the art pieces
I think it
for
was an
sale?
art I think they were. They were from, it's been October.
I know.
I can't remember what I had lunch for yesterday. Never mind in October if it was a year. The art was for sale or not.
Right.
But anyway, thanks for putting me on the spot.
Oh, sorry. I just remember seeing the
I think
pictures
it
of
was
the
for sale though. You mentioned that. I think it was for sale.
That's right.
So.
Yeah. And I knew I was going to like the store because I walked in and Lori, the owner, had purple highlights in her hair.
Yeah.
I thought, this is my store. I know it's my store.
It was I'm glad we stopped off, but again, the last one of our Michigan trip,
Right.
wonderful experience all through Michigan. Very fortunate that we did that. Now that the borders are closed between Canada and United States, we can't
right.
just go back and forth right now.
Exactly.
Hopefully that will open up in the near future. So, but we're really fortunate that we got that trip in, and so glad that we did a Michigan tour. Michigan is an absolutely beautiful state.
Right.
Isn't it?
It is. We both want to thank all the yarn store owners for their hospitality because they're always so kind with us.
They are, especially us coming from Canada. They're always really kind of nice.
Who are you and what are you doing?
So we appreciate that. So thank you, Michigan, and hopefully we can tour again sometime.
Right. And next we're going to talk about souvenirs. So first of all, I'm going to talk about my souvenir that I got at the Unwind Yarn Shop. And what I bought is called Simply Worsted Spray Haiku. And it is 200 grams, 256 meters, and it's superwash, acrylic, and nylon. And you need to feel that.
Wow.
So I have a pattern that does a little bit of brioche. And it's by Kate Athlerley. And it's this lovely, narrow kind of shawlette, and I think that would work really nicely. I think it's one of those ones.
You just use the one and you don't have to use two of these?
You don't have to use two.
That would be, I'm just looking, you'll have the price tag on again. Oh my God.
Well, it's because it's the size of two skeins.
Oh, okay. So it's two.
Does that make sense? If you think about two skeins in that, yeah, so it's good. And it feels great. It's feels to me a little bit more, not quite summery, but springy than something that you would wear.
Very nice though. Very nice.
I'm really, really happy with
Probably
that.
worth the money, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Now, then we went to Skeins on Main, which I love the name, by the way. And we were looking around, and sometimes I think, okay, I want something that's specifically Michigan. And what I found, which is amazing, I've got two skeins. Once again, this is worsted weight. So it was October. I was thinking worsted weight was a good thing.
It's a deep purple. It's lovely color.
That is so purple. It's almost black, but I really, really like it. I'm going to do some kind of color work with those two.
Those will be great together.
Exactly. So this yarn is, I'm just going to steal one of them. Yep. So it's called Shepherd's Wool. It's from the Stonehenge Fiber Mill, and it's made in Michigan. So you can't get more Michigan than that. And it feels nice. Like if you put it up against your neck, it feels good. It's
really
definitely not your color, but it feels good. You know, it would look great on her, but it's purple. So it's for me.
No, very nice. And very Michigan.
It is.
I like that. Support the Michigan.
Exactly. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully we've brought a little light in your day. We're trying to keep our spirits up and
keep positive. And this too will pass. It's just getting through.
Exactly.
It's getting through it, you know.
Exactly.
But hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly. So if you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up. You can subscribe, comment down below, let us know what you'd like us to do. Maybe there's something you want us to talk about, because right now our adventures are very limited to the top floor and the basement. That's our adventure.
Maybe our next adventure will be the garage. Maybe the basement tour. Oh,
you know what?
We don't want to go to the basement
tour. We could
tour.
do a garage tour.
We could,
because you've done a great job of getting your garage set up.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can show you that.
Okay,
dollhouse.
we'll do a garage tour when we do your stash tour. How's that?
Oh.
See the face change.
Okay, we're not going to do that.
Anyway, if you have ideas of what we can do for adventure. Now, our next podcast, we did have one adventure after Michigan. We had gone to a sugar bush, and I'm excited to share that one with you. So that'll be on. So, watch for that one coming up.
Right.
We had a great day at the sugar bush, but we weren't really around a lot of people, which was good.
No, what ended up, actually, we were really fortunate because this was all before social distancing. But you and I don't like to stand in line very much. So
Right.
the line to go in and have pancakes was
huge.
really long. And we thought, we've had a nice tour of the sugar bush. We haven't been super close with anybody, and we're good to go.
Right. So then we came home and you made lovely pancakes and we had it in the comfort of our own home.
Exactly.
Little did we know we'd be in for
I know.
Anyway,
So
we know
just-
you're on the same boat.
That's right. So keep your spirits up. Let us know if there's anything that you'd like us to see, any tutorials you'd like to see. There's all this kind of stuff that we can do to help out.
And you're not alone.
You're not alone.
Communicate with us if you need to.
Exactly.
We're there. You're
And
not alone.
we just want
in
you to
this.
stay safe. So until next time.
You take care.